episode, viewers. Today we're thrilled to have with us Pune is one of the most distinguished personalities. She is a true embodiment of rich cultural heritage, literature, and a strong advocate of Ayurveda. She is a visionary, an author, and the founder of Sri Yog Institute. Please welcome Rajashri Tupe. I'm so happy you agreed to come on board.
Thank you so much.
So, how are you feeling today?
Shri Namaskar.
Namaskar.
And I'm feeling really bright as usual with the sun in the background. And just like any other morning, absolutely bright. How are you doing today?
I'm very happy, very cheerful, excited to be here. How did yoga first come into your life?
So, it's very difficult to define that because I think I have grown up in an environment where yoga was around me. My mother, I've just seen her practicing every day, or my grandfather. But then, you forget it for a while. Then school happens, you go to college, and I was in a completely different, on a completely different track. But I think it is my good luck that something got me back to the Iyengar Institute, and I remember my first class, my first entry, and it has started and never ever stopped. I'm still going on in the same way.
Wow, that's lovely. So, we all know you, but we all know you as a teacher and like as a professor, as an author, but we don't know you. Like, what is Rajashri Tupe in her person? Can you just take us a little bit through your childhood, like your journey since your childhood?
Oh, it's a very interesting journey. I've been blessed living in one of the best environments. I've grown up in the hills in Panchgini. My schooling was there. And it was a lot of art and culture because I belong to a school which is known Sanjeevan Vidyalaya. Okay. And we had a lot of art and culture there, a lot of music, a lot of classical Indian dance, sports, and home environment was also the same. So I am the youngest of the three children my parents have, and so I always had a leeway. So I have grown up in an environment of arts and culture and a lot of devotion.
Okay. Particularly devotion to?
My mother is a very pious person. So prayers, going to temples. Like I remember on Saturdays going to the Hanuman temple and just going around and around. You don't know what you're doing, but you're just running around in the temple. So the things like after I grew up and I started reading stories on mythology, I understood actually I have grown up in an environment like that. It was a beautiful environment.
Wow, it's so holistic. Sounds very holistic. Since you were born around Pune, are there some favorite spots that you keep running after?
Around Pune?
Yeah.
Definitely. Like the forts definitely attract me quite a lot. And in that there is one specific fort called as Shivtar Ghari, where the Saint Samarth Ramdas has spent a lot of his time, and Arandi, another place where Jnaneshwar Mauli has taken Samadhi. Mm-hmm. So these definitely are my favorite places, besides, of course, the Iyengar Institute, which is the home and the ground and the base. But recently, the War Memorial has also drawn a lot of my attention because I've had a very close association with the Indian Army and understanding the sacrifice of the soldiers.
Is there a place that calls you, that you just feel like, okay, I just want to go here, spend a little bit of time and then keep coming back?
Definitely. It is called Yog Vatika. In the evenings, it's beautiful. You just go and sit there.
And people can go there? Like,
yes, it is open to everyone. It is open, yes. It is dedicated and it is also my offering to my Guru. So it is a place which holds a lot of reverence, and today that is the place that connects me and grounds me the most.
You've spent a lot of time with Guruji, and he's also played a prominent role, and one of his book called Light on Yoga, I think, which is one of the things that even most people are asked to study when they have slight interest in yoga. Can you tell us about your experience with Guruji?
So, all my growing up years I have spent with Guruji. It's I think a blessing, a great blessing to have been so close to him. And to describe him is like a light of energy. Even when he would walk in, there is a vibration, there's a frequency, there's a light, and there's a laughter. So when you interact with him, there is laughter. I can say in a few words, just his presence would make you and does make you a better student. And not only just a dry student, a student with devotion, a student with dedication, a student with commitment, a student with sincerity.
Wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So that is his presence and that is him. He had enthusiasm like a child, laughter like a child, loud laughter. And these are the best memories that I have with him.
So joyful. You often talk about aligning your self-realization with asanas. Can you give a little bit more? Because all of us, the way we look at yoga is pretty much as a form of exercise. And go with
I
it.
think one should just commence their journey, no matter on a physical plane.
Okay.
If it is done correctly, you are connected to the other planes. But if you start with an expectation saying, oh, I'm going to do yoga and I'm going to get self-realization, you may just go into the opposite direction.
Okay, don't start with the motive, just go.
Yes.
Okay. I know you love food. I attended your camp, and the way you explained some of the dishes, it actually made me want to eat it in that moment. Can you share one of your favorite recipes?
Oh, okay. I will tell you all a very, very easy and very healthy recipe. It is made with methi, that is fenugreek leaves. So we generally cook the fenugreek leaves, right?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
make a vegetable out of it. So what you do is you just soak it in water, preferably salt water for some time. You pick up the leaves from the water. You thoroughly wash them, drain them, and
Okay.
you chop them finely, very finely. And then you add some fresh coconut to it, the grated fresh coconut, absolutely sweet and the fresh one. And you add absolutely little salt, lemon, and a tadka, usually the tadka.
Oh, wow.
And you just have that. And if you want sugar, you could add sugar, or you could add little honey just before having that. It's a salad, and I have learnt it from my mother-in-law. And my mother-in-law has learnt it from the actress Smita Patil when she
Okay,
was
okay.
staying in our house. So it's come down through generations, I feel. But really try it out.
So Shri Yog is actually a very big dream, okay, that you have realized and achieved. But it's not very commercial. So when you were trying to communicate and express this dream, at any point did you feel stuck? Because often everything is just like, okay, what is the financial viability? Constantly, these are the questions that you're often asked. At any point did you feel stuck? Because all of us have dreams, and whenever we try to grow, we often feel stuck in that moment. Did you feel that, and how did you overcome it?
It's a very nice question that you've asked. So as I said initially that Shri Yog is a blessing. The root of Shri Yog, why it has come, has a lot of service involved in it. The SHRI of Shri comes from my father's name.
Oh wow.
And I lost my father when I was 17. And I have no idea of what death was. So the seeking of the answer is what led me to yoga. And the relief I got from my pain is why I thought that I have to be on this path. To give it the name of Shri Yog with the SHRI in it is a reminder to me on my path every day that why I am on this path. When you are on this path and you take it as a blessing by the grace of God, yes, finances do come in. You always have enough for that day. We do not have lots of funds, but we have funds for that day. And that is how we take each day as it comes.
You often speak very fondly of your mother. Like, I still remember you said that she has this particular routine and you're very observant about it. So do you feel like your journey is very inspired by her and she has great contribution into what you have become today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think growing up, it has had this subconscious effect on you, right? Because you grow with what you see. And as I was the only child around, as my brother and sister had already left for their higher education. And I also felt that after they left, she had a remarkable shift in herself, which was more devotional, more artistic. So
Artistic in what sense?
she
Did
would
paint
sing,
or
she would sing,
Oh, she
and
was
we had the
singing.
harmonium at home.
Oh,
so
wow.
you had to also sit and sing with her. When she did yoga, you had to do yoga with her. Every evening, you had to light the lamp and say certain shlokas, which are called as the Manache Shlok. And then there was a discourse by her to me about what is the mind. And then there was food which was cooked in a very, very natural manner, absolutely toxic free.
In today's world, we hear about really these fast-paced things like stress, lactose intolerant, and all of these quick healings and all of that. What is your thought on it? Are these just worldly distractions from main yoga?
No. I guess these are diseases which are formed in the body, and in each body there comes a time of deterioration when you have misused the body, overused the body for a very long time. That's when your organs start speaking to you.
Can be rooted out?
Largely,
with
a lot.
time?
It all depends upon the student. It all depends upon the student's consistent effort to come to the classes.
Okay.
Yes, because it's an ongoing process. It's not that you come once, you come 5 times and it's all done. There is a lot of self-discipline involved. There is a lot of one's dedicated practice on the mat involved. And definitely with that, a lot of relief takes place. Like for example, to tell you, Parkinson's is not reversible. Again, my mother, she has sort of reversed her own Parkinson's.
Wow. We often talk about a person's prakruti, like which is kapha, vata,
Pitta, vata, pitta, and kapha.
Yeah, these 3 things.
So you know what these prakritis are? They help you understand yourself much better.
And you have obviously consulted a lot of Bollywood stars, Hrithik Roshan, to name one of them. Can you tell us if there is a particular prakruti which is higher in that kind of community or industry in general? Like, does that make your career choices as well?
So, I won't get to Prakriti, but there is one thing I will say, and that is hard work.
Okay.
They are extremely hardworking. Okay. Very dedicated, very disciplined. And that is something which we all should look at, because we just have one glance of them and we have this whole remark about their presence or their beauty or their overall effect.
Charm.
Yes, charm. But I think they work so hard that they really will be having balanced prakritis, and they are very dedicated to their own regime of diet, of exercise, and always getting better. They are working to get better every day, and this is a very strong prakriti.
Oh wow! Who did you enjoy the most consulting?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. He's so dedicated, right?
Absolutely. He's a thorough gentleman, full of knowledge. So maybe for the class I would talk, but after the class I was listening to him for 2 hours. He talks so much.
Oh wow.
Yes.
So we all know Jay is also a great teacher. He takes classes in Koregaon Park. And we just want to know what was your approach, because it's so hard to actually, mold your children, to make them listen to what you have to offer, and then to bring them on your path where you are, which is of course such a profound one. It's such a treasure. What was that motherly trick or some advice that you'd like to give?
I'll just go on correcting every sentence. First of all, he's going to be very upset because you've called him a good teacher.
Why?
Yes, exactly. He will definitely not take that. Secondly, very frankly, as a mother, I never pushed him to come towards yoga. In fact, I pushed him away from yoga, because even now I will repeat, and I have told this to him many times, that to teach yoga, it has to be written here. You cannot choose yoga, yoga chooses you. Okay. You can, when people choose yoga and teach for 5 years, 8 years, that's not what it is. If you choose it till the last day of your life. It is a dedicated service. And for that, yoga has to choose you. Otherwise, you will keep getting a lot of obstacles. And where mothering is concerned, I think I just let them be. I let them grow in an environment. I urge young mothers to really practice yoga in these phases of their life.
If you can't do much, the least that you can actually do is just perform yoga when you're pregnant.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then everything will happen.
Yes.
I've had a long conversation with you, and it just feels like you're a woman who has a lot more. Is there a part of your life that we do not know was a bit more challenging that you're okay to share with?
I think when you're a mother and when your children go through any pain, that is the most painful part for a mother. And I think I experienced pain to that level also. Unfortunately, my children were injured very badly in a road accident.
At what age?
My daughter was 16 and my son was 11. And my daughter was quite seriously injured. And those days that we spent in the hospital, the 20 days, and the 6 months recovery after that, where I think I was put at a constant test. And what really helped me pass was again my practice, because the patience you require, the tolerance you require to see somebody else in pain. You know, when you are in pain, you can attend to your pain. But when you see your dear and near ones in pain, I think it's a completely different level. But you know, today I'm so happy to have gone through that, because it helps me understand my students much better.
First of all, thank you so much for your time. The day I actually came here, I felt very nice. Like, it was very serene, it was stabilizing, it was relieving. Also, it felt like a great sense of harmony. There was a lot of nature, a sense of peace that this place imparts. So can you please tell us a little bit more of how
You know, I'm so
beautifully you
happy
put
to
it
hear
together?
this from you. I'm so happy because as I have always told my team, that whoever walks in, you know, you have to remember that they have come home. And when do you come home? Sometimes when you don't stay home, you come home to recharge, to reboot, to reconnect yourself to all that probably you have forgotten. So I think this signifies that. Shri Yog signifies that. Shri Yog is for everybody to come home to yourself. And I'm so happy to hear this from you, because every student, every new student who comes and says this means a lot. Means a lot in terms of satisfaction, that's right, but also in terms of the motivation for the work to go on. So you know that yes, you are on the right track, and all the elements put here. And as you can see, we have Saint Jnaneshwar here, and he's watching us and he's blessing us. And then it has a lot of medicinal plants.
Yeah,
Like
the
there is-
freshly cut grass, the day I was cutting.
Yes, there is
the
Rudraksha
fragrance.
tree there, there is
Oh,
Tulsi
wow.
here. And there's a lot of harmony in the environment. So it is an environment for growth.
It's very holistic.
It's an environment for self-growth, transformation, and self-realization. Wow.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Shri
Thank you.
Namaskar. Thank you so much.
गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः हरि ओम।